Hey guys, this is your basic overview of the Cylinder City project that will be starting. Okay, so each of these steps is gone through with a different video that walks you through it and tells you the do's and don'ts, etc. So this is just a really basic overview. The whole point of this assignment is one, to get you drawing three-dimensional forms very well, specifically cylinders, although we'll practice cubes and pyramids and a few other ones too. And then also to have you practice shading very well, very realistically, and using those graphite pencils that go all the way from a 6B all the way up to a 4H in our classroom. Okay, so this page talks to you a little bit about making the cylinders. These are the step-by-step guidelines. So doing the two dots first, connecting them with the little, I call it a frowny face, and then connecting them with the smiley to make the tops rounded cylinder parts. The sides are all straight up and down. And then the bottoms, the biggest deal with those is making sure that they are never flat. They should always be a curved bottom, like this down here at the bottom of the screen. They should not be flat. All right. The next page talks to you just a teeny bit about spacing and trying to make things look like they have distance in between them. So one way you can do this is using the size. Cylinders that are stacked up and are smaller are going to look farther away. And then another way you can do this is by actually moving the objects farther up on your paper. So this little guy back here is one, smaller, and two, he's farther up, so the bottom only goes right here than these guys are, and that helps make him look farther away, and it looks like there's a lot of space in between these two buildings. This is going to be a city, so we are trying to make it look like it's a city block or something of that sort. Okay, sorry guys, my son was calling my name. So trying to have a lot of distance. This is a city block or a little alien sort of city. So you want it to look like the buildings take up a lot of space. You want it to look like some are farther back. You want some to look closer up. You want some to be tall skyscrapers and some to be short little buildings that would be next to them. All right. Then you will be doing shading for the Cylinder City, and again, we'll go through each of these on their own. But for instance, these guys here, they show you a little bit real quickly of the type of shading we're looking for. It's going to be pretty basic that the shading happens mainly on one side of the building. And then some areas, especially if there's an overhang, would be a bit darker. This city does not have to be gravitational based. It can be a totally not actually going to happen in reality type of city. So your buildings can curve or have larger parts sitting on top of smaller parts. They do not have to actually stand up to gravity on Earth. All right. Each of you are going to be adding extra details, at least 10 of them, I believe. These can be any of the ideas I have here, or you can approach me with other ideas that you have as well. So just for starters, you could have UFOs flying around since this is a little alien city. You can add in windows, like these look like almost portholes on a ship. You could add in extra lines, stripes, etc., going horizontal or vertically. Antennas are a big thing on top of the buildings or on top of the UFOs, etc. You can kind of individualize those how you want them. And then opening up the tops of your buildings and making it look like, that's a little hot tub that you could just jump right into. Okay. When you're practicing, and this is what the videos lead you through, you're going to practice all of these things. So two structures, so that means two separate buildings. So like one here, one here. That'd be two. You need to practice a curved area, whether it's just curvy, wonky, or whether it looks like one of these pipes that was on the other page. You need to practice splitting an area where you have this kind of like Y looking split in between and have this room in the middle. You need to practice shading on at least one of your buildings or structures. I do want you to practice 7 different details and use my ideas, use your neighbor's ideas, borrow ones from them, make up your own ideas, etc. So the more fun details, the more your city's going to look different or neat or more individualized than anyone else's. And then you are going to have one item that goes right off the page. So it could be this little UFO flying off the page up here. You could end up growing one of the buildings, having it go right off the page, etc. Okay, these are your requirements for your final paper. They're very similar to your practice paper. You're just going to have more of them. So 7 structures total, so 7 different buildings. 2 large, 2 medium, 3 small. I'm a little more lenient on these, like if this is a large building or if this is a large building or whatever it is. Mainly, I want you to have a lot of different buildings that kind of make up like a real city would be. You have 2 split areas, 2 curved areas. Everything is shaded. Your UFOs, all your buildings, all the windows, everything. 10 extra details. So I also count these totally, and you can add more for a few extra credit points. That's fine. So like these windows would be 1, UFO 1, antenna 1, window 1, these windows another 1. Opening the top, antenna, and UFOs. All right. You need to have one item at least going off the page. That's going to help it look like a city and like that city would continue if you just zoomed out. So it's almost like we're zooming in on one little part of a bigger city. All right, and then you do need to have 3/4 of the page filled up. You want it to be taking up most of the page. It's really hard to see in this picture here, but there is a very small light horizon line of where the sky and then the ground would meet. All right, those are your very, very quickly gone through requirements for the Cylinder City. Continue going with your learning guide and start going through the step-by-step videos about them. Thanks, guys. Bye.